Hello everyone. Glad to hear that you had fun yesterday. I hope after this presentation you even had fun today. We are here to discuss a topic, a customer case. It's always fun with the customer case. And we are going to describe the journey that we had in the last 2 and 3 years, moving from an old ERP system to a new one, the cloud-based, and also...
Just a team. Join the team.
Sorry. I will fix. Teams meeting, of course. And also the journey that we had old systems in the production and we had translate and moved to Novacura.
Show the screen. Accept?
Come on. I have accepted.
Okay.
I think you have to permit me to join.
A question. How many of you have heard of Vedum before? Raise your hands. Oh, that's good. How many of you have Vedum kitchen or Vedum bathroom furniture? Raise your hand. Okay, I see some market here. We need to say Marcus afterwards, so we have a job to do.
I'll show the screen.
Yes.
It's shared.
Is it? Yep.
Sorry.
My name is Frans Stridh. I was the project manager for doing this that we are going to talk about today. Nowadays, I am an acting production manager. And who are you, Marcus?
My name is Marcus Eriksson. I am leading development of Novacura at Vedum. I'm alone in my position. So it's an amazing job, I would say. I work with the whole factory and over 200 users with 3 shifts. So I'm quite busy, but it's a very fun job. And it's very fun to be here to share our experiences and also learn about others.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the boring stuff, you know, the background, the purpose, the objective with the project, and then we have the fun part, and he's going to do some demos. Okay? Okay, our business ID. Most of you raised your hand when I asked you if you have heard about Vedum, but for those who don't know, we are developing, manufacturing, and market and sell kitchen and bathroom furnitures. And of course, it's extremely important to have good design. But I would say, beside that, we are focusing very much on high degree of service. As you see in the logo, it's like a V, but it's like a heart as well. And that's who we are at Vedum. We are very customer-oriented. Yes. Do you think it's nice furnitures? Yeah? Good. Then you go to me and Marcus and order these after the presentation. Yeah. Okay. At Vedum, you see here, this is our factory. It's been a quite expensive phase. We have almost 10, 15 years. So we had a problem. You see, this is the factory. And also, it was here we delivered every kitchen and bathroom furniture. And you see, the houses were here, and the school is over here, and the railway. And we couldn't expand anymore. So, we bought the land on the other side of the railway. So now, everything is manufactured over here, then over this elevator automation system, and we deliver out here. And you see, now we have space to expand further. Yes, as you see, 400 employees. We are manufacturing everything in our facility in Vedum. And we are a family company. I'm very proud to be so. Yes. And now more to the project. As you see, it started first by we needed to upgrade our ERP system. We had Movix, and it was from 2001. The company evolved and evolved and evolved, and we were in a place that we had limitations of what we could do because of the old version of our ERP system. So we needed to upgrade to the latest version of M3 Cloud Edition. So that was the main thing we needed to do. But at the same time, we saw some problems in the production. For example, we had a system called Vedum. It was to our assembly lines. And it had a separate database. So it's kind of lived its own life. And every night is synchronized with our old ERP system. And, you know, old systems, we don't have the consoles anymore. It was expensive to evolve it. And one of the big issues that we had was MO reporting was only when the kitchen leave the factory. So, for example, if Johan here at M3C has ordered a kitchen from us, and he wanted to change maybe the size of the cabinets or something, he called us and asked, is it possible? And you know, the heart, we always try to do what the customer wants to do. And he calls us to say, can I change it? Johan, let's check. Instead of going into MoveX, our old ERP system, we needed to call the factory. Where is the kitchen? Is it possible? And they started to search for Johan's kitchen. And no, it's not possible. Call Johan back, sorry, but it's already on the assembly line. That was the reality that we had. So we manufacture it, and you can ask, why? How could you produce that amount of kitchens if it works like that? I can tell you that we have a large amount of experienced people that have been in the facility for maybe 15, 20, 25 years. They have great knowledge and great experience. So they knew where everything should be and where to be next. So when the kitchen leave, then everything manufacturing orders was reported. Yes. And also we had a logistics system called Extend. It also had its own database with storage locations and stuff that wasn't in our ERP system. Okay, you see, we need to do something. So we tried to find a system that could match our needs because we wanted the system to be very user-friendly, mobility, or phones, screens, etc. Full interaction with M3, a window to our ERP system. And we wanted to start with MO reporting everywhere, every step. And we got a suggestion from Martin Hilmersson that looked to Novacura. And we did that. And we was, I think, a demo in 30 minutes, and it's, well, no question. That's the system for us. And now I have talked about the more boring stuff, you know, and now we are moving slightly to the more fun stuff. Marcus, can you explain the...
Yes, thank you. So this is the fun stuff. I'm going to sing and dance. No. This is a list of all the applications we have. And it's basically everything regarding production, logistics, goods receipt. Basically, when you step outside the office, they only use Novacura. And I would say M3 knowledge is very limited in there. So I've actually built many standard M3 applications that is displayed in Novacura instead. But I'm going to demo one of these, which is forward picking for painting. It's actually another name, but it's quite hard to explain in English. So what we have here, and I'm going to try to explain our production. And Frans explained that we have very limited production space and storage space. And we make a very lot of components. If you think of a kitchen, you have many different cabinet sizes, cabinet models, lists and framings around your kitchen, and then you have 20 colors. So the product portfolio is very big. And then you try to make this in a short lead time. And to be efficient, you want to sew everything in the same size and the same material. And then you want to paint everything that is going to be a specific color in the same batch. So you have to do this it's a weekly planning. But what I'm going to show is when you pick all the material for painting, for example. And before, first of all, we had no material reporting and no internal logistics. So we basically had no clue where stuff was other than notes, handwritten notes on piles of different material. And they each week got a list from our planners, which said, you need 3 of this kind, 2 of this kind, and they picked all these pieces for each color. But at the end of each week, there were always deviances. There were too much of this left and too little of another one, basically because they had picked the wrong pieces at some point. And when you pick large quantities, you're going to have like a 2% error. So that was a big problem. And also managing, like if we end up with a lot of deviances at the end of the week, how do we fix this in a correct way? And also we have the issue with 3 shifts and communication and information, and you have handwritten notes. Okay, I need 1 extra of this, and the next person is going to read, is it a plus or a minus? I don't know, and nobody knows. And so we made an application for this, which I'm going to demonstrate.
Meanwhile, he started using Novacura. We have used Novacura now for 1 year with, together with the MT. So we started October last year. Yeah. So 1 year almost now.
So this is the application. I prepared with loading the data, which actually takes 1 minute. So I spared you that. But the first step is basically you select a date and you select a department. Because if you remember the picture, we had the railroad and the warehouse is on one side and the production is on the other. So this application is used on the other side of the railroad, where we have the big storage. So we store material where they then pick using this app, transport it back, and we put it into the painting machines. And then we also pick from other parts of the factory. That's why you choose different departments. So this list, I think this is the multi-selection list. It's grouped by, this is planning group. So for this planning group, we have these are colors. So if you want a linne beige kitchen, you will choose F88. So what the operators do, instead of reading from a list, they choose a color, and they have a set order in which they paint things. So F79 and F88 is our most selling color, so they are always painting these first. So they have a set list, so they always know which color they are going to pick. And the next step here, you can either start, and you start by creating a container. Maybe I should have translated this, but I will do it live. So this is a create container, so you pick all the material to a container where you then can handle and move around in the factory. So you create a container, or you can just, if you just want to have a look at the list, you can press this button, and I can show you how it looks. And then you just display the picking list. but I think we should pick live. So I'll go back here, and then I create a container. And then we have different kinds of containers. Then you click which one you want to create, or you can scan an existing one. But I create a new one. So now it's creating a package in M3, which we are going to pick to. So here is all the different parts that I'm going to pick using this row. So let's start with the first one. It's a Maya-lucka, 282 by 296. That's the size. Pick this one. Here I see that I need 5, and this is the color. Here we have some other attributes and stuff, but it's not relevant for this pick. Then I press next. I then fill out how many I pick. And then it's put at the bottom as picked. And I also we have like a picking location where everything is automatically moved to, which is vit, meaning it's white material. Before painting, we named it vit, which is white. And then I just continue to pick. We can take another one. And we do the same. And they do this all week, round the clock, and deliver it to the next department, which is actually painting these parts. And when you're finished with a pile on this pallet and this package, you press pack, and you select where you want to move this to. And we have a location that's called auto, short for automation painting, which is the department. And then you press next, and I will get the printed label for this container, which shows what color I picked, how many of each part, and which parts, of course. And then you can move this. I know for some things they just store it in a storehouse, and then they send a message, now we need this, and then we'll send it over. And then you can continue picking the next color and the next color. So that's how the app works. And to get this, all the data, all they need, we built an extension API, which basically looks at, we list all the need for this planning group, and we list all the material need, and then they look for some attributes in the product data, basically, which list which color they are going to be painted and which material they need for that. And then Johan has made all the magic behind, and the script steps to get this nice list. So this is all the demonstration. But from this, like I said, we had a lot of deviations before, and a lot of rework and low efficiency. And I had to speak with the manager of this department before I left here, because he's the one who's praising this the most. He says every week they had a couple hundred errors or stuff they had to rework because they had picked the wrong colors and they were missing stuff. And now they are down to a handful, maybe. So that's why I would say this is our best app if you want to count bang for the buck, I would say.
Yes.
I'm going back to the presentation. Which I explained, our errors has gone down. I know the end users love it too because it's very visual. There's no interpretation of someone's handwriting on a piece of paper. There's no lost papers. And also we've built in if you have like scrapping or you're not reaching production goals, it will show here that, okay, we need to pick 2 extra because they scrapped them later on. Before they had to like call and order and again write on a piece of paper and push it forward. So this has been very good for us for that reason. And of course, as I said, we have a handful of errors still, but it's hard to reach 0 errors. Because you have the human element. The app says what you're going to pick, but you can actually pick another item. Yeah, so you can always lead a horse to water, but the horse needs to eat its drink by itself. So that's all the demo.
I know that eventually I think you have more demos.
Yeah, I did prepare extra, but I don't know if there's time or if it's
if you start
any interest or any questions about this application.
Start here. Do you have questions about this app? I think you are very curious.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do they manually enter the config or do they scan the items or do you have?
They enter manually.
All right.
Yeah.
And how is the items labeled? Is there a label on the items or?
Yeah, they are labeled, but the tricky thing is you make 500 of the same model, and then you need 20 for that color and 10 for that color. So there's no printed paper pre-hand that dictates which color they are gonna be. That's why they use the app. They have a barcode with the quantity, but that would read 500. So we have MRP planning all the way down, and then we break it down and define through our factory later on.
If you report the pick list line, it actually consumes the material for production, or you just deliver it to the final location, then report the production line?
This only makes a stock movement, and then that's the next. How do you track a stock movement? You don't want to get the need again when you already picked it. So we save all these picked lines in a database, which is later removed when we report the MO. So and we actually done this in a few apps where you save what you picked to a database to know that it's actually picked. If you can't use M3 logic, which you could with pick lists and material status and other things, but we cannot do this here. So that's a useful tool. It's been for us.
Yes.
What kind of devices are you using in the warehouse?
They actually stand by a computer to do this. So they basically pick everything and then check the boxes. I know they have like demo try to have on a tablet or portable. I think it's called tablet. Smaller device, but it's an theme that you want a lot of information, but you have very small space. So I think that's why they'd rather stand by their computer to do this.
Yeah, I've got basically a question. When you made the decision to make the investment and purchase, was that a structured process, or is it very formal or informal? I guess family owned, maybe it's not so formal. Do you have like you need to present evidence before you make investment? So like preliminary return on investment or some kind of report?
You mean about the return on investment about using Novacura instead of the old systems.
When to explain why we need this, maybe for owner or management, like, do you have to prepare a business case, or is it more informal that you can just say we need it?
I would say that we were in a, we had reached a critical mass about how much we could produce in our factory. And we needed to find more effective ways to work. So we saw that we can't use the old way of doing the ways we think we should do. We need the system to tell us what's the most effective way to do it. And I would say that is the biggest problem during this year, have been moving from I know what it should be, instead of listen to the system, what the system says what it should be. So in the beginning, it was the system says it should be over there. But I know, no, it's not the most effective way. It's better to have it over there. So they place it over there sometimes. But it's a system, it was over there. So in the beginning, we didn't see it. But week 2, week 3, week 4, we started to find the issues. So we had a couple of months trying to getting everyone to know the importance of doing everything like the system. If it's wrong in the system, please go tell the IT department to change it. So I would say that is the biggest.
Me.
Yeah.
They come to me.
Was it the answer to the question?
But was it difficult to handle the change with the users, community, with the employees?
Yes, it was. We underestimated it, to be frankly. We had education. You had a lot of education. We tried to really sell it to the users, but they didn't understand why they should do it and why it was important.
So was there anything that you would have done different if you would have gone over again, like in terms of handling the change?
Yeah. When it comes to education, and we should, I would say, not just twice as much, much more education. And we should have more like the big advantage using the system, and maybe also when they find problems, a good routine how they should manage. I thought that was also something that we didn't do that good.
Yeah,
Do you have something to add?
I agree. You can never underestimate the work and the education, like you said. And I mean, I think Vedum, from a project perspective, maybe underestimated manufacturing because, and I think that comes from they never worked with ERP systems or any other system in a large-scale way. So the focus was, I feel, a lot about order, purchasing and other departments, and production. Yeah, they'll figure it out. And so I think, and production itself was not aware of what's to come here. Now we're going to report every manufacturing order. We need to move every part. If you move it physically, you have to move it in the system as well. And we didn't prepare manufacturing enough. And still, we had 200 plus employees with 3 shifts, and I had at least 3 education sessions with each person. So I spent a lot of time presenting how we were going to work. And also I was recruited in the middle of the project and with actually no M3 or Novacura experience. So I had a steep learning curve as well. But I think that speaks to Novacura's strength with the load code programming, I think it's called. Because now I can actually develop my own apps with some help sometimes, but it's very logical, drag and drop, step by step. So I think Novacura is amazing, actually. And it's like each week, each day, you come up with new ideas and stuff. I think time and resources is maybe an issue for us.
Thank you for sharing your experiences. You seem very likable guys. I think for the right content.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I said, I work with 200 people. You have to be, you are kind of the face of Novacura, and you will hear frustrations, but I think it's person dependent a lot, and you have to have some social skill as well when you're out there working with the people, because I think we had some cultural issues with some people that I don't care, I don't want to do this. I'm here to make kitchens, they think, but you have to explain why this is important and also show improvements and show the effects of improvements. Like I think now, for example, 1 year almost, I think we are in a good place with deliveries, because at one point it was not so good after launch. So I think we need to display that to the organization as well.
Exactly. Now we have better on-time deliveries than we have ever had. So it's amazing to see what the system can help us to achieve.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I saw that you are using Portal as well.
Yes. Do you want to see?
Yeah.
Of course. When I saw all the apps on the slide before, it feels like almost like, go to the pizzeria and you see all the pizzas you can choose. We have an app pizzeria menu.
Yeah.
It feels like, yeah.
So
Do we need all that apps?
We have too many, and we definitely need to organize and set up roles. I think too many people have too many apps, to be honest. So we have a lot of pages, and this is basically work schedules, like PMS 230. I know you mentioned before, and we have different ones for different departments. And also here, I think they are either custom APIs, custom CMS 100, or extension APIs. Most of them, because the basic PMS 230 doesn't contain the color and attributes and other stuff. And it's also quite slow, I think. And we also have, I can change display planning group. Now I changed to a different planning group. And that is going to save to a user property, which we use a lot. And I heard yesterday that it's going away in Connect. That's sad for us. So let's go to, I'm going to show you our assembly line. It basically looks like this. Lina OK means assembly line OK. There's no stops or errors. So here we have actually live what is displayed at their computer. They have a quite different screen, so the how it's displayed here might be a little bit different. But here is basically a cleaning cabinet, and you have all the material that is consumed at that workstation before it's moving on to the next one. And here you have the order configuration also displayed. And then they have some custom workflow buttons where they can scrap material, add a new cabinet to the queue if they need to manually add. Otherwise, it's integration with iCore, which makes a request or something to Novacura. Fredrik knows more about that. Sorry. Yeah, and it's also listening to. We have a device for cabinet finished. They press a button, it's reported, and the next one in a queue is fetched, and that queue is in our Novacura database. And they can do access. They have touchscreens on their, so they can just press these to make like scrap a material, make a stock movement. If they have like a machine issue, they press another button which will make this red. And says, my computer is giving up after a few years in this project. So the touchpad is quite broken. Let's come on. So now we're back. It will display it red, and all the other stations on the same line will also have a red light. So this, I think, is a quite cool feature, which is very good to use, like for an assembly line, I would say, where you have one order at a time in front of you. Any other question?
Just a question out of curiosity. I'm thinking about the implementation and training and such things, because I also experienced that. Well, these tools that we have, they show good results at the end of the implementation. As for you, your deviations have gone down dramatically. Still we have users that, like you said, I'm just here to do my job. I do it the old-fashioned way still.
Yeah.
And have you incentivized or rewarded good use of the new tools that we get?
No, we haven't rewarded, but I recognize the same issue you have. It's hard to talk about, this is going to be great, because it's hard to beforehand say that, we're going to save this and this, because that result you can only, if you collect the data, you can show it in after. But before, it's hard to motivate people, and it's the difficult part actually. But I think one of the things is make simple things which everyone will understand. You are gonna have, if you have 200 employees, you're gonna have some people that they cannot operate a computer, basically. You can't say, you press enter. They don't know what enter is. So make it simple and and try to involve. And I know in some areas, Thomas, he's not going to do this work because his colleagues will manage it for him. And sometimes that is better than having Thomas operating Novacura. For example, Thomas has another name. But it's difficult, and and sometimes, because from our managing point of view, that's the point of this part, was traceability and transparency to our system, our M3, and to know where a manufacturing order is, that our stock levels are correct. And for me, it's all, and sometimes I can make the transaction for the users, and we have auto stock movements and stuff. But at the same time, we want to have the users perform these steps, so you have the exact times and stuff, and see the transactions between departments.
And I must say that the biggest advantage that we have now is, before we did have M3 and we had Novacura, we didn't see the lines that eventually could be late to our customers. We could see them, but it was investigating all the time. Now, every day we have 15 minutes, 4 people looking at. Now we see 25 customer order lines that maybe will be late to our customers. We need to make them deliver in time. So now we can always be in advance. Before we did that, we were always feeling late. So it feels fantastic to have done this journey.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the objectives was that we should be independent from our consultants. I would say 50-50, something like that. But it's very impressive that you know developer background doing a lot of things in our apps.
Yeah.
So you have done a great job, Marcus. And also our developers and consultants have been very good. Yes?
Yes?
Go first, Adam. Question. I think you have actually a huge journey for developing your apps since you started from scratch. I was just wondering, in that journey, have you actively involved the end users to develop the apps with you? Meaning that, you had this, as mentioned, this culture shock for them.
Yeah, I would say in pre-launch or go live, we perhaps did not involve them enough, but it has kind of occurred naturally after launch. Then it's the end users coming to me with an issue, and we developed things together, and it's all the details basically. Okay, I want to press this, I want to select this, I want to write this, I want to scan here. I don't want to enter this information. I want it's predetermined, etc. So yeah, I would say now I involve end users a lot, or like a shift manager. Yeah.
So has Thomas been convinced as well?
Thomas is convinced, I think, but I know that he's letting his colleagues do most of the work.
And you also had a question?
Yeah, this is merely a technical question about the order information pattern. What portlet are you using? What's the HTML?
HTML.
It's custom built by your one.
No,
Fredrik.
That's a good and neat way to present.
Yeah.
Much structured way. Yeah. That's good.
It's very good. So I'm a big fan of the portal, actually, because you can have a lot of function easy at hand and display information and act on those with workflows. I think it's good.
This other idea that you mentioned in our presentation with using requisition orders, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And are you actually planning to store it or scrap it on a daily basis, or what's the plan?
We'll see, because with requisition orders, you can actually use the status of the order to show or display and perform. So I don't know if that's needed, but I talked to Malin before with another issue with the request comes from they want to send messages to each other and have them displayed in the background or something. So I want to integrate that a message or something to that CMS 100 list, like have a separate database that you lift and display here as well. But we'll see. That is, by the way, our most requested feature from our warehouse users.
How do you handle the support when you are alone and it's three shift? Is it stable? Or is it?
It's okay now, I would say, but during launch it was long days. actually. But I mean, it's a challenge for me right now as well, because I have different tasks with different departments and in different scales, and some are projects, some are minor issues. I could probably list 500 small changes I need to make. And I know we discussed a lot about how do we manage my tasks and priorities and stuff because now I think we are more, our heads are above water for sure now. Before it was more hectic and I was always like solving issues.
But do you stop the factory if they can't access Novacura?
No, we didn't. But it caused some heavy load of work to make the orders deliver on time. So it was a really hectic time for us, I would say. And the problem is that we...
Depending on, can you have your routine, so you can, if the system go down now, can you continue or is it?
We could continue. We have no machines are dependent on Novacura, but and we can always fetch information from M3 and you can report orders. But we make now, let's say 5,000 cabinets a day. Each one has a manufacturing order, and for each cabinet you have 1.5 front, and each front has a manufacturing order, and then you have a supply chain for that manufacturing order. So we report a lot of manufacturing orders every day. So to do that afterwards would be time consuming.
Yeah, so to be frankly, it was about Vedum didn't do the performance test with the amount of manufacturing orders, the amount of test users before launch, I would say. So we did absolutely some tests, but it was not enough. Yeah. So when we saw maybe day 1 it was okay, day 2 a little bit slow, day 3 start feeling it's very slow, day 4 or 5, okay, it's not working anymore. Then we had a alarming meeting with Novacura, and we stepped up the cloud environment, and we upgraded once more. So I would say it was us not doing the enough performance test before launch.
Yeah, and for example, this Tuesday, M3 had an issue at 5 o'clock in the evening, and then everything stopped. So that was actually a stop for like half an hour or something. Everyone is, what's going on, calling me, and I can't see any errors. I think I contacted Fredrik, and because when it happens, you don't know if it's Novacura, M3, our own internet provider. But I think that's a risk. However you make this.
Yeah, but I must say that I feel more secure having to depend on Azure, Amazon, instead of our own IT department having our own servers. So it's, of course, there will be some stops eventually, but I'm pretty sure that we have better uptime now than before.
Yeah,
so it's
most
lower risk.
I think Novacura itself, it seems very stable. Mostly it's our printing server that is down. Extreme, I think our service is called.
Yeah, for the document prints.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Novacura, I have not experienced much performance issue. We had some during launch, but like you said, we fixed that.
Yeah. Enough talk about the downsides now. Yes. Okay. Is our time ended, or what's the clock?
It is, not to worry.
Okay.
Thank you so much for a fantastic presentation.
Thank you very much.